It's recording. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Happy Sunday, guys. I hope everyone is having a blessed Sunday. This Sunday, I'm bringing to you our first blessed babe. Her name is Jessica, but she goes by Jess.
Yes.
She's going to be talking to us about her book for children, ELOHIM Bless My Babies.
Yes.
So, before she dives in, I just want to let you guys know that she is from Florida.
Yes, I am.
Were you born and raised in Florida?
Yes. Born and raised in Fort Pierce, to be exact.
Okay. Right. So, when I read your book, I'm going to be honest. At first, I thought that the book was going to be a lot of like baby pictures.
Oh, okay.
And it was going to be really like, for like a nursery, almost like a nursery rhyme. That's what I was thinking. But it wasn't, guys. So when you get that copy, I want you to know it gets deep, okay? And me and Jess is going to dive in and show you guys how deep it really gets.
Oh, yes.
So I just want to start off. Do you have anything that you want to say before we get started?
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. I really, really appreciate this. Yes, so thank you. And to everyone watching, I hope that you feel inspired during this interview and that you come to learn a lot about the book itself and what it represents, the meaning and message behind it, and that you feel encouraged so much so that you would go ahead and purchase yourself a copy. So, for yourself, your children, because it can be enjoyed by both children and adults alike, as just mentioned. So, yeah, that's it.
Okay. Well, Jess, I'm going to start off by asking you, I know a lot of people usually refer to God as God, G-O-D. So, right. Behind you calling God by his real name?
Well, that's just it. It was definitely to be very specific because, as we all know, God is used so much, and not to take anything away from it. God can mean anything to so many people, like when people do their makeup, in a way that just, is so awesome and amazing to them, so beautiful. They say their faces beat to the gods, and stuff like that. So not to trivialize it, it was just to make sure that the reader, the hearer, listener, whatever, everybody knew exactly what God is being called upon and being prayed to throughout the whole entire book. So it was just to be very specific and just knowing God, his name, because a lot of people don't know that, surprisingly, a lot of people don't know that Elohim or Elohim, however you want to pronounce it, that's God's name. It's one of his many names, actually. There's also Yahweh, there's Jehovah, there's Shaddai. There's so many different names for God. But Elohim, believe it or not, when I had gotten up one morning prior to even typing the first word or writing the first word to this book, I was, in prayer and stuff and just thinking, what would the title of the book be? And I knew it had to be the Lord or God or something, but Elohim, because, that was what just, yeah. So it was like, okay, then that's the name of it. And here we are, Elohim Bless My Babies.
Yes. And she ain't just talking about her babies, okay? She's talking about talking about the Black community in general.
Yes,
as I was reading the book, and when you guys get your copies, because hopefully you will grab your copy, the illustration is kind of like the tree and your children. So I wanted to get into the reason why you chose to use a tree for your allegory.
Okay. Well, the meaning behind the tree is that trees represent life, and trees grow. They have skin, which is their bark. They have limbs, their branches and twigs. They have roots. They produce, they give off food and nourishment that we need. The tree represents so much, and I really do love trees. You know, I'm not like a tree hugger or anything like that, but I really love trees. I love nature and everything because it represents life for us. And so when you think about a tree, you think about when it's planted, when it's a seed, a small seed, and then it grows into this huge creation, and it represents so much. It represents oxygen, it represents food and everything.
Right.
So when it's likened to children and it's not just children, it's everybody, it's everything, all people, well, all of us. It's to show that just like the tree, we were planted, we grew, we sprouted, we've grown, we have the ability and the power to give life, as many people birth babies and everything like that, and produce more seed, produce fruit, and the fruit is the children. And to let them know that just like the tree, they have the ability to bring forth fruit, they have the ability to bring forth life and bless all of humanity. And because of, and I'll just, make it very relevant, because of so much that's going on right now. I really feel like we need a message along with all the other ones, because there are so many messages out that lets us know that we are very important. We have a lot of meaning in our being, and we're here on purpose. And it's just to let children and adults alike know, despite what messages are being put out that are very negative and demeaning towards us, have to know the truth behind our existence. We have to know that we are here for a reason. We are here to live, even though it seems like so much death is surrounding, the entire world, and especially our community, not just because of the coronavirus or anything like that, but it's like, the police brutality and everything else is everywhere. We were made and created to live. We were made and created to grow, to produce, to bring forth, food and wellness. We were made for good. We are not cursed or anything. So that's why it's likened to the tree, and to just send the message that your existence, your very breathing has a lot of importance. And
it matters.
And it matters, exactly. And that's what the whole idea behind the message in the book was, just to convey that, is that your existence matters, your breathing matters, your frame, your structure,
everything about you matters.
Absolutely.
And you get into that with the description of the tree as you're talking. I love how you took a lot of the negative annotations that people make about Black beauty, and you turn it back into positive, like our wide noses and the skin, different skin tones, and our different hair texture.
Well, like you mentioned, in the book, it goes into detail about, the shape of our noses and what they mean, and I'll give a little bit of it. When we'll go to the description of the nose, since that's an area, much like our lips and our skin tones, that get criticized the most. And it's like, when you think about a nose being wide, in the book it's described as being an illustration to the terrain that you will travel, like the land you will go to. The wider your nose, the more terrain you will travel. Your nostrils represent tunnels of life, because you inhale life, and you're breathing out your power and your excellence and everything into the atmosphere and everything like that. Like, it's very deep, but it's just to show that your breath is so powerful. There are some who will go to great lengths to take it away from you, who will try to take your breath away, and that just goes to show how important and truly special that you are as a being, individually and as a collective. We are all, in this together, because we all have our own stories. Like, my skin is darker brown than yours, But in the
Mm-hmm.
book, it's, you know, it even mentions whatever shade of magnificence that you
Right.
have, it's all beautiful, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
this book is really written to express that, you know, no matter what shade we come in, we are here and we're together, we are one as we should be, and see each other as such, and see the beauty within each, regardless of the differences. All of the differences combined together, it paints such a beautiful portrait. And so I just really want for us to acknowledge the physical characteristics that we have, and know the power behind them, like our lips being soft pillows, you know, for the
Right.
words that we'll speak, because sometimes the truth can be hard truths, and they need a soft landing. And so
Yes.
our lips provide that soft landing, you
I
know.
love that. Like
Thank
I
you.
loved your analogies and your metaphors that you used in the book. It
Thank you.
was really a different
Mhm.
focus than the norm, you know, especially when you compare it to different ways to create life or different ways to inspire
Mhm.
versus, you know, usually when we're getting a positive compliment, it's either
Mhm.
sexualized
Right.
or it's like stereotypic where you're just trying to make fun. So
Right.
I don't want to give too much away from the book, but I also wanted to point out in the book with the imagery,
Mhm.
there was a couple of pictures where you like pasted different Black faces on the
Right.
trees.
Right.
And it kind of reminded me of memorials that we
Right.
put up in the hood to
Mhm.
kind of honor a person who may have died before his or her time. So
Right.
I just wanted to come to you and ask you, was that the inspiration behind it?
Well, when you say that, it makes me have a new interpretation of it, actually. Thank you for
Okay.
that. Yes, thank you. Because when I saw it, it did give me that idea, even though it wasn't created with that intention in mind. But when I looked at it, I was like, wow, that looks like a memorial. It looks like, you know, one of the murals or something.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, the thought behind it was to just put the face there with the tree being in the background to
Okay.
show that, you know, to show life. But I know I love that, you know, your interpretation of it, because it's all subjective to our own interpretation. So thank you,
Mm-hmm.
actually. But yes, even on the page with that illustration on it, um without again giving too much away, one of the lines in the book, it says, you know, Elohim, please bless my babies to know how important they are, because they are perishing, because
And
they
we're
don't know who
killing
they
each other. And
are.
it just took me
Exactly.
there. It
Yes.
literally took me there. It like took me
Right.
to, and I live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We have a very high crime rate.
Oh wow.
And a lot of our babies are taken away before their time. And
Right.
it literally took me to being in my car, driving past these trees where you see pictures and balloons and teddy
Wow.
bears of these children
Mm-hmm.
who life was taken way before their time.
And I'm sorry.
What inspired you to release this book now?
To be honest with you, it wasn't even an intention of when to release it, because honestly speaking, it's like it just wrote itself.
Mm.
And I have been working on it for a little while now, especially with trying to make sure that illustrations were in place and everything, and just wanted to make sure that everything was well organized and it made sense. But now it just seems so relevant, you know, especially like when you say, and you know, murders and everything isn't something that just started happening within our community, because, you know, me like yourself have seen pictures, have personal experiences of losing loved ones to murders and gun violence and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like steeped within our community. And I really feel like, you know, much like with the message of the book, it tries to open our eyes up to ourselves, but
Mm-hmm.
also open our eyes up to each other, Because if I can see myself as being important and special and having, you know, possessing great power within me, then I can look at you and see the power that you have, and see all of the beauty and the brilliance that you bring to the table. So it's more so about us seeing ourselves and seeing each other. The importance of all of our lives. Your breath matters. The fact that you inhale and exhale right now matters to me. And the fact that I'm inhaling and exhaling matters to me. And your family and your friends and even people we don't know, it should always matter to us. To see the beauty and to see the magnificence that every one of us beholds within ourselves, and to bring it out of each other too. You know, that's why I said, you know, in the beginning, thank you so much, because you're using your platform to make me known to people who've never heard of me, who've never heard of Fort Pierce, Florida, you know, and things like that. So, and that's really, you know, a part of the message is, you know, see me and love who I am, see you, love who you are.
Exactly.
And just be, you know, family to each other, be a support to each other, because when you win, you make it to where we all can win. When you started your blog and you know, your platform, you're creating a space for writers like myself and authors and everybody, you know, in communication and media and you know, the literature world, to have a space to be able to connect with people. And I'm sure along the way is, you know, it's been a little bit of challenges that you've had to face, but look, you're here. And so, and that has to be celebrated as much, you know, as much as all of your hopes and dreams and accomplishments. We have to always encourage each other to do that, you know.
And lift each other up, because even if you're a oak tree and I'm a maple tree, we all serve the same purpose, you know. We all serve the same purpose. So what advice do you have to aspiring authors?
Keep writing. Know that you have a lane, you know, regardless if it's children's books, if it's horror, if it's inspirational, if it's nonfiction, fiction. Keep writing, because someone needs to hear or read your material, and hear, because, you know, there's also Audible, you know, audio books and Audible and everything. So keep writing, because we need all of the voices, spoken, read, everything. So, and, you know, in times where you question yourself, because sometimes along the way, if it's not going the way you initially thought it would, don't let, you know, it not going how you want it to discourage you from continuing on the path that you're on, because you keep going, eventually something has to give. Something has to, and something, you know, excellent is going to happen. And that's with anything: authors, writers, journalists, musicians, whatever it is that you want to do, you know, keep going and don't let anything stop you, because that's going to build your momentum. It's going to build your strength. It's going to build your confidence when you see, wow, I overcame all of that and I made it. You know, I didn't give up. I made it, thank God, you know. And it's like, it's a true testament of your heart and dedication to your craft and what it is you were put here to do. So just keep walking in your purpose and know that you'll make it to your destination if you don't give up. Yes, and that's for everybody.
Don't give up.
Don't give up. Just keep going. I know this cliche is so, you know, people say that all the time, but it's really true. Don't give up, no matter how long you may think it's taking, or you weren't able to reach certain people you thought you would, or you're reaching out to this and that person and communicating with you. Somebody's going to give you a yes eventually. Somebody's going to give you a yes. So keep knocking on the door. If you have to pound a little harder if you have to, just to get, you know, the attention you need. But keep going.
Somebody needs to hear your story.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Do you have, I'm going to go ahead and let Jess go.
Okay.
Please get a copy of her book.
Yes.
Please read it. She did a very beautiful job in recreating some of the negative stereotypes that a lot of Black beauty have against it. She also did a great job of opening up a platform for self-love in yourself, it's very important for us to start that, to create that, to get rooted in that nature, to love yourself so that you can love others around you despite the appearance of them. And she did a beautiful job in displaying that in an analogy that you can read to yourself as well as your children. So grab a copy when you can. What platform can they get a copy of your book from?
It's available right now on Amazon and Audible. I'm going to say Audible now because it's recorded already and it's in submission. So just look for it on Audible as well as an audiobook. And I myself am narrating it. So
okay.
Yes, and and it's available in the ebook format, for those who don't necessarily do the traditional paperback copies, and and Audible, because I was told by someone I know to do an audiobook because they don't like to technically read, they rather listen to.
Okay, so be on the lookout. Check out Amazon for ELOHIM Bless My Babies. Yes. Thank you, Jess, for joining us and coming on this platform to spread your message and your voice. I really appreciate it. I hope the rest of you guys have a blessed Sunday. And that's it. And we're out.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Okay.
Blood on the leaves. Blood on the leaves. And blood at the root. Check. And blood at the root. So bleed. Blood, Africa. Old Panthers looking back like, who gonna come up after us? Outside the movies, I make sure before it move you, it move me. Now bow down to a queen, please.
Hey guys, before we get into our first Sunday Blessed Babe interview, I just wanted to reach out to my kings and queens and my brothers and sisters that are in the United States of America. For those of you guys who may know or may not know, our brothers and sisters in Africa are going through it. SARS, a police tactic force who was first enacted to help people, have been raping, killing, extorting Nigerian people all across the country. I know that in recent times we have seen it ourselves in America's police brutality, and they stood with us. And I'm just asking that you take a second to pray for our brothers and sisters in Nigeria, and that we stand with them as well and help them through their trying time. Because all Black lives matter, regardless of if they're here in the United States, in Nigeria, in Senegal, in South Korea, in Thailand, in the UK. We all matter, and if we don't stand together, then we'll never win. So please take some time out to pray for our brothers and sisters